A very good evening to one and all. I welcome you all to the Strategic Management and Corporate Finance Marathon. Now, the marathon which I will be taking, I will be covering the 40 marks for you all. So, the first part A, which is there, which is your strategic management. In this 2 days, I will be covering the entire 40 marks in depth. Okay, so good to have you all. Can I have GTG in the chat box? Let me tell you what I'm planning. And this I want you all can complete it with me. Okay, so full in-depth revision we'll be doing in a short span. So we will be doing half of the chapters today. For today's marathon, I will be covering these 3 chapters in a fast-paced manner. The notes, the marathon notes, I have shared it in the WhatsApp group and the JT community group. You can go and download. It is a complete summary of the module. Okay. So both we will be covering. So this is part 1 today, and part 2 I will be doing tomorrow. Okay, I will be doing tomorrow, and your entire 40 marks you will be able to score really well. Now before I start, I have gone through the past exam questions also, because most of the time students don't know how these questions are framed and how to attempt these questions. So your 40 marks is generally asked in the form of direct and situational questions. So you don't have to worry. Even the exam paper I have summarized. So the June 2025 paper also I have summarized into what all exam questions and topics they have asked. So this is your entire question and your synopsis of your entire part A, 40 marks, what kind of questions they have asked. Okay, so we'll begin with the first part. This summary notes which I have made. I have shared it in the WhatsApp group. So all you have to do is go into the WhatsApp group and get these clear. So are we good to go? Can we start? Corporate finance again. Great. So don't worry. Today and tomorrow I will be doing your entire strategic management. 40 marks I will cover for you. Your corporate finance, 2 things are there. I've given you all the dream batch. The dream gap gives you access to all the lectures, and it has all the amendments as well. Second, I have also taken a marathon earlier in the June attempt, that I had taken the part B marathon, where I had covered multiple chapters from part B. That was 60 marks. This is 40 marks which I had not taken, so I will be taking it now. Good. I hope it is clear what is the plan for the day. GTG in the chat box. Am I clear of what we are planning to do? So we are going to knock off part A 40 marks entirely. Part B you can do it from the dream batch, and you can even do it from the previous marathon, which I will rotate, where I have taken multiple chapters. And then later when time permits, I will take the other chapters of part B also. But right now 40 marks is most important. That is what is normally missed out by the students. Marathon notes are given to you. Keep your module and these notes, you can print it, and everything will be sorted. So maximum I require 3 chapters. I require 2.5 hours, and I will complete it in depth. So GTG in the chat box, and we begin with full energy. Right? So the past paper also I will take you through what all questions have come in the last attempt, and with the model answer. Okay, with the answers of it as well. So can I have GTG in the chat box, everyone? Gautami, great to have you. Wala, Mohammed, Saparna, SB, great. Raji, yeah. The notes I've kept it there. So what we are planning to do is we are planning to complete the part A in 2 days. Today 3 chapters will be done, and tomorrow 3 chapters will be done. So entire 40 marks will be completed. Okay, you got your module, and okay, module and our notes you have, our classes notes you have. Acha, module is also sufficient. So these notes and the module is sufficient. Okay, so let's begin. Great. So we will be beginning with the first chapter of your strategic. And I have two notes with me. Both I have shared in the WhatsApp group and that you have. This is the summary notes of your full chapter, and second is the past exam question, that is June 2025 exam question. Also I'm going to solve simultaneously. Okay, so good to go. Can we start, everyone? Begin. Okay. So in your June 2025 exam paper, first I would like to put like 3 minutes on the exam paper, what has come. So the first 40 marks, these were the topics. Normally, since it is your part A, students don't know what kind of question comes and how to attempt it. So we are going through the past exam paper. So in this, these were the topics that were covered. Your CSR, corporate governance, role of company secretary. These three were in chapter number 1. Chapter. So the today's marathon, 3 chapters we are doing, I'm going to tell which all topics have come from there. Second, then came strategic planning, business environment, vision and mission. These were the topics that were asked. This was from chapter number 2. Chapter 2. Then they had asked again Potter's theory, which was again from chapter. Okay, so these were your questions. The questions, now you all should be mentally prepared of what kind of question comes. Do I need to mug up how it is to be written? It is very different from corporate finance part B. Corporate finance part B is very technical and you need to know everything in depth. But do I need to know everything in depth in part A? Answer is no. What you need to do in part A? In part A, you need to know all the headings, the subheadings, and the keywords where, for example, a definition or a particular year, what you need to quote for the examiner to look very, it should be highlighted. Like, let's take an example. In your first question of your entire June 25 examination, they asked a case study. They gave a situational question that there was this company called as UKD Steel, and they said that as a company secretary, assist them in making them their CSR activities. So then we came to know that why CSR is important, the factors influencing CSR. So they didn't ask you a direct question, they ask you a situational question, but the answer is direct. Understood this much? So this question we have, you see in your notes also, your CSR part where the factors influencing CSR was there. Then next they said that list out the important factors related to CSR where the board of directors takes decision. So then came the board role in CSR. Normally everybody knows what CSR means, but what exam question they're asking is what is the board of directors role with respect to CSR activities. So again, that is also there in your notes. Okay. Then they asked a situational question further, that define the role of a company secretary in implementation of this corporate governance framework. So they gave a full situational question and then they are saying that define the role of a CS. In which chapter? Again in chapter number 1 only they have role of company secretary with respect to corporate governance, and then what you need to do. So this is very different from how I teach all technical subjects. All other subjects I teach you all in depth, but this subject I'm going to teach you with how you can crack the exam. All you need to know, you can never forget what is strategic management, basic stuff, but you need to know how are they twisting the question. Answer is exactly copy paste of module. CSR supports company secretary supports governance by, this is all directly given, but the question was seemed that they have rotated it, but nothing, it is all in the module. Further, Six Sigma is of another chapter which is of day 2. Okay, then we go on to see that they had asked Six Sigma with respect to that is on day 2, so that I will see tomorrow. Now again further what we'll see, strategic planning. Again, this is one of the today's marathon part. So what question are they asking? Explain the steps in strategic management cycle. How strategic management can help an organization. So what are we doing? We're trying to understand, okay, fine, they asked a question. So just by understanding strategic planning is not enough. You need to know how it is, the steps included. And in the module, it's a copy paste. Define the mission, setting the goals, internal strength, SWOT analysis, final strategy. Okay, so like this, we are going to see the vision, compare the vision and mission statement. So a very obvious question again they had asked, difference between vision and mission. So again, this is the topics. So whichever is the topic of the day I'm discussing, and then in the end we will start. So once we know that in June, what kind of questions they are asking. So when they are asking vision and mission, it's really open for you to write anything. Make a table and you write. It's not like a technical kind of a thing that what is section 174 that you need to know. So only thing is you need to know keywords that you will be able to build. Then again, PCG matrix is another day 2 marathon. Blockchain is day 2 marathon topic. Then they had asked about effective logistic strategy. Now this is again in lesson number 3. In lesson number 3, what they have asked, that as a business, as a strategic head, or while making the business policy, what kind of logical strategy you will make. So effective logistic strategy includes all these things. So these are all your June question paper. We are just looking at overview. Then they'd ask about the fintech innovation. This is again in the second part of the marathon, not today. Then they had asked Potter's theory, a very obvious little question they had asked. Explain the situations where threat to entrance is very high. Normally, a student would know Potter's theory, but after knowing Potter's theory, still they will not be able to answer this question, because what they are asking, explain the situations where the threat of entrance is very high. So when will the entrance be very high? So where in any business which capital requirement is low, where the existing brands are weak, where there are no major entry barriers, where the restrictions are minimal. So this is logical, but writing all of this on spot, you need to learn this also. Switching cost is low. Then you can see customer loyalty is weak. Products have little differentiation, and economies of scale are very easy to achieve. So these are the things. Okay, so that's it. This is your entire June 2025 paper, part A. You saw it is not rocket science, it's very much easy to manage. So this, what I'm going to teach you, the notes that I've given is extremely important. It gives you the keywords that you need to know, and nothing can come, not a single word can come outside the notes, obviously, because it's a concise way of the module. Okay, so can we start with lesson 1? I'm going to refer two things. One is the ICSI module from which I made my notes. These are my notes made from ICSI module, and second is the summary notes which I have given. Okay, so we will begin. So 3 chapters we will be finishing off today. Let's begin. Hi, so we'll be starting with lesson 1, part A of your strategic management 40 marks. So first is about introduction to strategic management. Now very important, any question that comes in the examination from this chapter, I expect you to know the meaning of strategic management along with few definitive terms. So first thing is understanding the concept. When someone tells me that it is strategic management, I will understand that a strategy is needed when the goals are big. So always long term and corporate goals are important. So what you say that long term to achieve the corporate goals. So the keywords are long term development and to achieve the corporate goals. Here. So what is strategic management? A strategic management is focusing on long-term development of an organization and trying to achieve its goals and objectives. So this is the meaning. And along with that, you also have to give the definition of any one of the persons. So you can see whoever you like, and that's how you will start. They will never ask you give the definition of Chandler, Gluck, Payne, Humbrick, but you need to quote anyone. So whichever you like, you can choose and quote it. So Chandler, determining the long-term goals, okay, adopting an action plan and allocating the resources so we can achieve the corporate goals. Same thing what I told you. What is strategic management? Strategic management is to achieve long-term goals by allocating the resources to achieve the corporate goals. Finish. Now, in strategic management process, now this is the first exam question that they can ask you. First, we have understood what is strategic management. We will write the meaning of Chandler given by Chandler. So you will quote that by Chandler, this is what it is, and always remember mention all the keywords as I have given you. Then it creates an impact. Second, they have told that the first part of the chapter that they can ask you is this: what is the strategic management process? How many process they have given you? Four phases are there. Very simple. If today I want to let's take this example. Okay, I'll ask you two questions and you all have to tell me whether you would go ahead or not. Would you try to sell shampoos to these people? No. Would you try to sell them a blow dryer, air conditioner? No. Why? Because after assessing the situation, you realize that they might not need it. So the first thing when you're starting a business is you need to scan the environment. When you do a scanning of the population, what are their interests, how much population is there, then you will formulate your strategy. So first is environmental scanning, second is strategy formulation, and after you formulated the strategy, then you will come with implementation, and in the end you will review it periodically. Very simple, very logical. Scanning, formulation, implementation and evaluation. Logical, no rocket science. Okay, so now we can build it on our own, in our own. All we need is keywords. So the four phases of strategic management process. So strategic management is a long-term process to achieve the corporate goals by allocating the corporate resources effectively, given by Chandler, and a few names you can quote. There are four processes to this. Is first is scanning. In scanning, what will I do? I will scan. If you've done SWOT analysis, just write the word SWOT analysis. Your life becomes easy because you will scan the opportunities, weakness, threats, etc. So I would scan lesson number 2. This is lesson number 2, internal and external environment. So I will scan the internal environment and I will scan the external environment to know the SWOT. Moving forward, then I will formulate the strategy. Now, strategy is basically a process. Strategy is a process of allocating resources to achieve the goals. Same logic. Strategic implementation implies the putting the chosen strategy into action. So implementation means action. And evaluation. So final step is evaluating, that is appraising. Now normally when you use the word evaluation, what else you will say? Appraising. Appraising means reviewing it. So reviewing all your actions, measuring the performance, and then taking corrective or remedial action. Okay, so that is what it will be done. So we are set with our first answer. So how many parts of the chapter we finished? I want you to write down. Please write down all the parts. So first part, what we did, definition. Write this down. Definition of strategic SM. Second part we did is 4 phases of strategic management. This 4 phases, only the heads. I want only you to write the heads. Third part of the chapter is strategic leadership. Okay, strategic leadership. What is a leader? What do they do? What are the 9 roles that a strategic leader should have? Okay, so we'll be starting now. Strategic leader. Do you consider now this is the third part of the chapter. Third, do you consider them as good leaders? Yes. Now why? Why do we consider Elon Musk, Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos, all of them as good strategic leaders? Can I say a strategic leader must be someone who has the ability to motivate people? Today, you also must be looking at business motivation videos of them. So their main job of a strategic leader, okay, is to motivate others. A leader who is unable to motivate is not a leader. Okay. So they would first, you can only motivate others with your thinking, thought process. If I can give them a vision, what they believe, that's when people will follow me. So they think strategically. First is they are, nobody follows any fools. So first the person must be having some thought, then they act strategically and they influence strategy. So coming to the three keywords. Now we all know strategic leadership. How do we define it? So the third part of the chapter is strategic leader. So they have given a definition of May. Okay, by May. So whatever, that's his name, May. So definition by May about strategic leadership. Now leadership, as I told you, what is the key word for leadership? Now leadership, what I tell you, what is the key word for leadership? They are able to motivate others. But if I use the word strategic leadership, means what? Strategic, what did I tell you in the very beginning? Long term. So ability to influence others to achieve the long term success. Always strategic is long term and leadership is motivation. Okay. Now the leader will have a vision, direction, growth. Okay. Now strategic leadership refers to a manager's potential to articulate the strategic vision of the organization. So what is the main job of a strategic leader? Is the vision, strategic vision, he is able to articulate it clearly. So it motivates, guides and influence. Now see the keywords. Normally when we have to write an answer, it's not technical, it is English. But if you just write these keywords, it's easier to write it in your examination. So he not only motivates, guides and influences his subordinates. So just write the keywords, you're sorted, you will be able to build it. That strategic leadership refers to potential, the manager's potential to articulate his vision and influence, guide and motivate his subordinates. Now, when we go further, what is his role? The roles of a and responsibility of a leader. So what does Steve Jobs do? They first set the organizational structure. Now, organizational structure, always a leader will set the structure. Structure could be top down and bottom up. Okay, so top down is where directly at the top orders are given to the bottom, and bottom up is where we ask all the lower people and tell them. Even organizations could be centralized or decentralized. Now, my question to you is, Steve Jobs has a centralized or decentralized way of functioning? According to you, centralized means all the powers he wanted in hands of few. So he wanted that he should take all the big decisions and the small decisions. So leader will decide which kind of business structure is there. And nothing right and wrong. It is on basically style of the organizer, of the leader. He will allocate the resources. Resources are monetary, human, all resources he will allocate. He will communicate his vision and deal with uncertain environment. So this is enough to build the roles and responsibilities of a strategic leader. Purpose, why he is doing what he's doing, is to increase the productivity, okay, and align the employee behavior to the organization's requirement. Okay, so this much we can write about roles and responsibility and purpose. So what is the roles and responsibility? He sets the structure, he sets the resources, and he communicates the vision, and he deals with uncertain environment. This is all not law, this is just general stuff which we can write. Keywords we need is enough. They build confidence, okay, and coming to the most important part is the 9 roles of a strategic leader. So till now, roles we saw, then we saw what is the purpose of strategic leadership, building confidence and encouraging his people, functional strategic leadership, and last and the most important part of a strategic leader is your functions of a strategic leader. Now this, obviously these are different headings you need to know. Navigator has a special feature. So what is this? That 9 strategic roles of a strategic leader. Now if I'm just thinking that what is the role of a leader? So what all do you think is the role of a leader? Can I say one of the role is motivation? So let's see where he is giving motivation. Then we can say complex situations he should be able to handle, works out through complexity, is develops a long-term plan. So no doubt there's nothing like a definition, just common things only you can write. He has to act like an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur develops new products. Highlight the keywords. Mobilizer. He proactively builds and aligns everyone together. Mobilize is to gather. What will you gather? You will gather all the people, resources, and funds. Talent advocate. Now, talent advocate, what they are saying is a leader will be able to attract talent. So he not only, very important, you attract talent, but tomorrow they can leave the company, but they also know how to retain it, and after retaining they also know how to develop the talent. Captivator is they are able to build passion. So when you work in a environment where there is passionate people, you also get motivated. So builds passion, and all of them are working towards a common goal. Global thinker, they integrate all forms of information. Change river, makes change happen. And enterprise guardian, that is shareholder who have invested the wealth, they will try to guard protect their entire wealth. So again, navigator navigates through complex issues. Strategy always means long term. Entrepreneur is, can I build a cricket bat and be an entrepreneur? Cricket bat is something which is already known. For example, anything which is new, that comes under entrepreneurship category. So entrepreneurship means new product. Mobilizer means what? Productivity builds and aligns, proactively builds and aligns stakeholders, capabilities, resources. Talent advocate, from the word itself, they attract talent. Not only attract, develop and retain them also. So the keywords, if you remember, you will be able to write it better. So not only attracts, develops, retain. Captivator means passion, global thinker, integrates from all the sources to develop a well-informed, diverse perspective. And enterprise guardian means shareholders' wealth should be protected. Now, coming to the next thing is strategic importance for company secretaries. Now, which part of the chapter this is? Like, only I'm telling you, only these questions can come. So first we did strategic management definition. Second we did the process, 4-stage processes were there. Then third, strategic leadership, and we saw all this leadership, and most important in that is the 9 parts. Now we come to the most important thing which they asked in the exam also, about company secretary. Now for company secretaries, you don't need to read too much. You know what they do. All you need is the keywords. What work do we do? As a company secretaries, we are compliance officers. So we comply with the law. What else do we do? We are KMPs, so key managerial person. We do secretarial audit. We are in abroad, they don't have the word company secretary. We in India called company secretary. The word secretary is not there abroad. What in other countries, what do they call? Any idea? Governing professionals. We are called as governing professionals abroad. So here we also do corporate governance. What other roles do company secretaries do? Only when you know, you will be able to build, right? Before even going, they represent the company before the authorities. Okay. Now let's see. In short, we'll see first KMP, compliance officer, internal audit, GST professional, registered valuer. Obviously, we can act if we have cleared the extra examination. Strategist versus a knowledge worker. So knowledge worker is basically just by, what are we trying to understand, that as a company secretary, you don't only need to comply the laws, but you also need to drive the strategy understand the political environment, business environment, legal environment, and do a pest analysis: political, environmental, social, legal. See, it's not a law that we are reading. We are just trying, because law has to be exactly what it is there. For you, you are lucky, this party is, look, your ICS has given you a gift, take this and clear, because you can write. So all you need is a keywords to build. Then they say that they act as a bridge between all the stakeholders. Strategic impact, you can write quote a few sections also. Can you tell me under which section of Companies Act is the uh, secretarial audit given? Under which section of Companies Act is that? Chalo, about KMP, I'll teach you how I have learned it. I learned it a long time back. I learned it in a sequence. So I know KMP. KMP is 203. So next one will be secretarial audit. And after that will be functions of a company secretary. Functions of CS. So at least we can quote this in the examination. Okay. Strategic impact, risk assessment, strategical, sustainability assessment, competitive advantage, and CSR guidance we give. So I'm just reading overview, then we'll go into the depth. So what are the rules of strategic rules of a company secretary? So we give advice, very important. We stakeholders communicate. All these headings I want you to write. Internal line you can build. So they act as a communicator between all the bodies. Then disclosures. So we ensure that all the disclosures are given in the annual report. You can quote the section. Annual report is with section 92. Then board meetings. We attend board. So company secretary is the only professional who attends board meetings. So when we sit in the board meeting, we set before the board meeting, compliance is there. At the board meeting, we take the notes, and after that, we do a minutes, compliance with the laws, and representation before everyone. Okay. So this much is given about company secretary. Let's go through the detailed part also. Strategic management for professionals like company secretary. So all we need to know is what all work do we know, and then we can build it. So evolving role of CS. Okay, now this was asked in the June 2025 examination also, that a company secretary plays a crucial role. Obviously, we know our job: KMPs, compliance officer, internal audit, GST professional, registered valuer, insolvency professional, strategic management, and overall we play the most important part in corporate governance. Use the keywords correctly. Then strategist versus a knowledge worker means what? Strategist is which is more better, just being a knowledge worker or strategist? Why are they teaching you strategic management? Because as company secretaries, our job is not mechanical. It is also that we need to plan looking at all the environment, business environment, and long-term development. So strategic more than just on working on the knowledge. Balancing the corporate affairs, so we interact with all the ministries, etc. A company secretary has to address all these factors such as risk management, sustainability development. In your group 1 of your CS professional, you have so many keywords: risk management. In ESG subject, you have sustainability development. Nowadays world is moving towards sustainability development, vision, mission, evaluating the business competition, and CSR is again supremely important topic that we have to. So we are done with one more part, the roles of company secretary as an advisor. All this has been given: communication, disclosure requirements, we attend board meetings, and ensuring compliance and representation. Headings you do, then we are done. So how many parts of the chapter we have finished? Because a new part will start, which is called as strategic planning. So we have done first one. So the chapter we go to see is the definition of strategic management. Second, the process of strategic management. Then the third part was strategic leadership. Then fourth, what was fourth part? CS. Okay, the role of, so if you are able to build this much, not a single word can come outside. Then we are doing the fifth part, which is called as strategic planning. Strategic planning. Okay. So another part of the chapter we are doing, which is called as strategic planning. Now, let's understand strategic planning, what it is. So whenever I use the word strategy, it always means long term. Yes or no? Okay. Now, whenever we use the word strategic, it is long term and it is normally for the entire organization. It's an organizational process of defining its strategy, okay, allocating the resources to pursue the strategy or to pursue this strategy. So again, similar to what we have done, strategic management. Here is just a planning. In 1960, the concept of strategic planning gained importance. So we can quote it, not a big deal. Now let's take an example. I'll give you an example of strategic planning. Now what happened is everybody is selling shoes, but when you look at them, Red Bull, do you think that they're selling a drink? When you look at Red Bull marketing, they are trying to sell a aspiration, a kind of brand. Their brand creation is being done. So when you see all of them, so what happened is this was started by Nike. What Nike did, they started bringing athletes. They never promoted shoes, the features of the shoes, or anything, that the lace is good, the sole is good, the light. They brought in athletes. So people used to have a different view on the company. You don't feel Nike or Adidas is related to shoes. You feel as a it's related to athletic, recognition of all the athletes. So strategic planning, you will write the word Allison versus scale. Okay, so some of the names you need to write, whatever I'm teaching you, you can write it down, especially because general stuff we can write. We need all these extra things to make your answer a little more highlighted. As per Allison and Kale, strategic planning is an organizational process of defining the strategy, allocating the resources to achieve this strategy. Finish. Now, okay, so strategic planning, what we'll write? Allison and Kale, and then we'll say strategic planning cycle. Now remember, this has come in the June 2025 examination. That strategic planning cycle. Now, if you go to see, what are we doing? We are making a plan. Okay. Now, when you sit to make your examination plan or any other plan, what do we try to do first? First, at least I write my vision and mission statement first. Okay, I always say I will top the exam, I will become one of the best professionals in the world, I will master this subject. So, plan is being made for what? That has to be given. You set your goals, okay, that this is where I want to achieve, this is where I want to be, right? Your goal is your. Then you will understand that where I stand today, what strength I have done. For example, I have finished, this is my fifth revision, so it becomes helpful. Otherwise, if imagine I'm just saying this is the first time I'm reading, so you need to know where do you stand. Okay, so your current position, so strength, weakness, you need to know opportunity, threat, which called as SWOT analysis. In the end, you make the strategy. So again, from the exam point of view, first we make a goal, then we look at where we are. We do a SWOT analysis. So you can just write this down. Vision, mission, goal is the first part. Then you do the SWOT analysis. And in the end, what do? You make the final strategy. 3-part strategy. Finish. Okay. And this planning, you will write the word, it is a iterative process. What do you mean by the term iterative? Means it keeps changing, evolving with time. No plan can be foolproof, forever constant. It will iterate, it will improve with time. Okay, then comes, why would I do strategic planning? Benefits of strategic planning. Now, obviously, without a plan, there will be wastage of resources. You will not be able to achieve the targets. Okay, you will not be able to communicate to a person very clearly, employees, and you will not be able to solve the problem clearly. So again, you get improved results. Then you can solve the problem better, improve problem solving, better teamwork, clear communication, etc. Concept clear? Done. Then limitations of strategic planning. Now again, we are doing the topic called as strategic planning. Which point number it is from the entire chapter? Which part of the chapter it is? The fifth part. Those limitations of strategic planning. Let's say, what was your New Year's resolution? Last year's New Year's resolution that you will lose weight and become richer and study harder. Did that happen? No. So just by making a plan, it doesn't happen that it will be successful. So implementation failure could lead that the entire process was useless. Second, planning requires top level management. They do a lot of R&D, then they make the plan. So it requires high cost. And obviously it is possible that a poor plan. Now, how will anyone make a poor plan? Because plans are made for future. We would never know whether the plan is, for that moment you must have felt that it's good. Okay, so you've chosen CS. Now, whether it is a good decision, best decision, okay, or not a good decision for you, you would only come to know in future, right? So I'm sure it must be an excellent decision. So moving forward to this part, now we are done with the fifth part. So fifth part we are done. Sir, what was fifth part? Fifth part was about strategic planning. We had taken the name of your best friends, Allison and Kale. Okay. Then in that we had seen the process, strategic management process, the planning process. Okay. In the planning process, I told you what I do, vision, mission, goals I set, then I do a SWOT analysis. In the end, I make it and it always keeps improving. Benefits of strategic management, we have done, improved, everything is improved. And limitations also we are done. With this, we are done with the fifth part of the chapter. Not a single question can come outside than what we have done. Now we are doing the sixth part of the chapter, which is about BOD and CSR, which they had asked in the exam again. Now BOD and CSR. So it's not only BOD, but they're talking about BOD's special role with respect to CSR. That what did the board do for CSR? Now let's look at that as well. Okay. First we talk about the BOD and what is their role, and then you start about CSR. So do I directly start about CSR? Answer is no. First you talk about BOD and then you talk about CSR. So board of directors. What all do I write about BOD? You can write so much, right? But what do you exactly write here in strategic management? So in strategic management, you will write about they are responsible for good corporate governance. At least this line we write. They are responsible for good corporate governance. Second, what else you would write? That is BOD. All this chapter that we are doing, strategic management, strategic planning, is done by BOD, right? So again, the role of this is corporate governance. They develop, now this obviously I know it will come in other chapters, but vision, mission, strategy is all developed by BOD, top level management. Then trust and responsibility. The institution of the board is based on trust, and respectable people should be safeguarded. They should they hold a position of trust in decision making. Okay. And can you tell me who is the best person to advise the board? Who's the best person to advise the board? Company secretary. Okay. Now with this, it's enough about the board of directors. More big words if I have to throw, I will throw big words such as board of directors ensures corporate sustainability. Board of directors ensures that we become good corporate citizens. Board of directors ensures. Now this is there, which is called as the heart of corporate governance. So this always you can write somewhere or the other. The heart of corporate governance is TRAI. Transparency, okay, responsibility, your accountability, and so here you can just take the heart of corporate governance is transparency, proper disclosures, accountability, etc. So this is the keywords. You throw it and you're sorted. Clear? Now we'll just go through the detailed notes also, because then comes CSR. So we can say this was the sixth part, right? BOD is the sixth part, and this could be called as the seventh part. So this I'll call it as a sixth BOD related, and then we'll call this as the seventh part. Now we come to CSR. Very, very, very important CSR. Now what is CSR, under which section it is there, and at least you can tell me who is the mother of CSR. Who's the mother? Nobody knows the mother, but everybody knows the father of modern CSR. Very, very important, you need to quote. Section 135, even a kid from CSEET will be able to quote. Okay, so don't think you've done something great by quoting 135. You have to quote it. But in addition to that, you will write a few things that in 1953, CSR was born. And who was the father? Howard Bowen. Okay, you can also quote his book, Social Responsibilities of a Businessman. Very, very important. They will never in your entire life ask you this. But you will quote. You need some extra technical things to write, right? That is where you will be able to do. So CSR means it is the corporate have a responsibility towards society. Corporates have a responsibility towards society. And then you will write the keywords SEE. SEE. And in SEE you can write the word PPP. Now what is this? These are something that I had learned, and this we can easily every time quote. That in CSR, does CSR mean that giving away to the society? Is it charity? Answer is no. It means that you do economic development along with social development. So CSR ensures that you do social, economical, and environmental development. People, planet, profit. What is it? People, planet, and profit. That help the people, social, help the environment, planet, and at the same time make profit. Okay, so somewhere you will try to do that. CSR ensures SEE concerns. SEE concerns. Which concerns? People, planet, profit, social, environment, and this concern. Sorted. Clear? Then again, concept of CSR we have done, that companies should not only make profit but also the interests of society and environment. So SEE aspects will be there. Now tell me one thing, if I'm a business owner, government is telling me to spend certain amount for the benefit of society. Can you tell me how much percentage I have to spend in section 135? 2% of average 3 years net profit has to be distributed as CSR. This is called as CSR expenditure. The CSR expenditure, who will ensure? The CSR committee. Okay, what the CSR committee will do? The CSR committee will make a CSR policy. Okay, this policy will be placed on the website, etc. Okay, now my question is, government is telling you that out of your net profits, give 2% to the society. If I am a money-minded entrepreneur, should I have a happy face or sad face? Quickly, if I'm a money-minded particular businessman, should I have a happy face or sad face? You would say sad, but the answer is, law has worded it separately that this is a positive aspect. This is what we'll be reading. that it is a business opportunity. See this, CSR is a business opportunity because Tata's today makes goodwill, right? So with this, you will be able to develop goodwill, attract talent. Even the regulators have a, regulators also give a better advantage to companies who are following CSR. Plus, now imagine how much benefits I'm trying to say to the people, that why this is investors today and customers today want to associate themselves with companies which are actively involved in CSR activities. Is this concept clear? So in CSR, I want you to also write that CSR has positive benefits like brand value, goodwill. Your what all benefits we have? Goodwill. Customers also nowadays want to associate. Investors also want to associate with people. Even the employees, you are able to attract better talented employees, right? And obviously, what other benefits we can write, that it is in line as being a good corporate citizen. That's it. Now CSR has developed into the strategy and a business opportunity. See this. What are they saying? That CSR has developed as a business opportunity. Today, how much CSR they are doing? If they are doing out 1 crore, 2 crore they are spending in marketing, that they have spent 1 crore. So if I have done charity of 10,000, I am doing marketing of 2,000 to just show that I am doing charity of this much. So it is a business opportunity. Imagine doing CSR as a business opportunity and earning goodwill. Okay, it includes all these benefits that we get. Clear? If you do proper implementation of the CSR projects. So have you heard of Reliance CSR project? If you know what Anand Ambani is doing, Vantara, that is from the CSR funds, but it is being portrayed as if they are doing a lot. They are bound to do by law. Okay, so but they're taking goodwill also at the same time. Importance of CSR as a business strategy: helps build trust, NGO collaborations, and enhances stakeholders relation. Under Companies Act, we have Rule 2D. Section 135 everyone's going to write, but you write the word Rule 2D. And it excludes, now very important, CSR activities I will do from everything that is mentioned in Schedule 7. Schedule 7 gives you the activities in which CSR funding is allowed. Now what it excludes, so it is not CSR. So they can ask you in the exam that if I do anything for the welfare of my own employees, is it allowed? My own family, is it allowed? No. If I do anything which is in the normal course of business, is it allowed? Answer is no. Only COVID was allowed. It was one exception was there. Any activities done outside, I realize that there are so many hungry people and poor people and needy people in USA. Can I spend my CSR funds there? They say no. So it is allowed only in India, exception again, if it is for Indian sports person going abroad. Political contributions not allowed. Benefiting own employees not allowed. Sponsoring activities undertaken for marketing benefit not allowed. Okay, so I try to do marketing activity, that is not allowed. Activities for statutory obligation not allowed to be counted as CSR fund. That you have to only do. If law has told me to set up a canteen, I cannot be considered as a CSR activity because law has already told you. Is this concept clear? Benefits of CSR I have already covered. Reduce regulatory intervention, employee loyalty, brand, public image, positive external impact, balance of power. Okay, corporate, better industry relationship, employee well-being, investor attraction, and government incentives. So you get the incentives much faster. So some of these points you can take and be ready. Again, very important. So right now, which topic we are doing? I think this is the 7th one, right? So 6th one was BOD, which I don't think is a much big thing, but CSR related to that is more important. 7th, okay. So in 7th, they can also ask you factors influencing CSR. Means what? Why is CSR gaining importance? Because public pressure is there, global pressure is there. All the international authorities have come in. customers want it, investors want it, okay, public is expecting you to do, and obviously any breaches will be spread out like fire. So due to technology, communication technology has the even the breaches are communicated very fast. Okay, limitations of government regulations, business benefits that you get, attracting talent, quality of implementations, etc. Okay, now we are doing the this is also very important. This is what they ask in the exam. That what is the board's role in CSR? So we did BOD, and with that you can add this part also. I will not consider it as a separate part. So sixth part I'll just add it here, that board's role in CSR. So the BOD, what they do, as I told you, they develop the policy, they distribute the things, they ensure that the funds are proper, they monitor the utilization of funds, transparency, they report it in the board report. Okay, they approve the policy, disclose the policy on the website, ensure that the activities are undertaken, ensure that the funds are spent, monitor the utilization. Okay, unspent amount will be, they have to ensure that the unspent amount is, distributed as per law. The board also decides on the monitoring of ongoing projects. Administration limitations have been given. Setting of excess CSR fund. Now this was there a question that if I have spent more in this year, can I set it off in next year CSR? This year I have to spend 1 CR. I spent 1.5. Next year can I spend 0.5 less? Answer is yes. It was being allowed. A notification was there. Then all these website has to be disclosed. Then again, CSR and corporate governance. Okay. Now, very important, the definition of corporate governance. So, which is a wider term? Corporate governance is wider or CSR is wider? Obviously, corporate governance means all those activities which is needed is done, and one of which is CSR. Okay. So, it is a subset. And is CSR philanthropy? Answer is CSR philanthropy. Philanthropy means what? Helping people, giving money. Is it yes or no? According to you, is CSR philanthropy? Answer is no. Philanthropy means giving to people without expecting in return. Here we get benefits in return. So it is not philanthropy. So philanthropy is like charity. Can I call CSR charity? Answer is no. That is what is a very important thing. Okay. So it is a expectations that the society should give back, the company should give back from what they have earned. Then comes to one corporate governance. Whole and sole corporate governance. What does it mean? So corporate governance comes from the root word. Okay. Corporate means a company or a business entity, and governance comes from the word gubernate. Gubernate, which means to steer. To steer. So collectively, corporate governance means to steer the company in the direction of profitability. Clear? And then the objectives of corporate governance. So first we'll finish CSR. Okay. So what was CSR? Again, quickly now, let's see if you recollect. So CSR integrates SEE. Okay, 1950, father of CSR definition. Then it's a strategic business opportunity. Importance of CSR, we did. Definition under Companies Act, what is covered, what is not covered, benefits, factors influencing CSR, role of BOD, very important, we did. Then CSR and corporate governance, very simple. But from here, this I want you to learn and quote it in your exam. I guarantee you, you will get an opportunity to mention this. I had done it in my examination and I got exemption. Okay, I'm sure you also are aiming for exemption, and I'm sure you will also get it. So what it is? Corporate governance. So I had learned this by heart, and I had written verbatim. Okay, what is it? Because I knew, and obviously I had learned it in the subject for ESG. In ESG, that time it was corporate governance subject. So now obviously Here you will get an opportunity to quote the definition of CSR as per ICSI. What a better definition can be there? So CSR meaning, I told you, it means, what is the normal meaning? Is to steer an organization towards the direction of achieving the corporate goals. Didn't I tell you this? Because governance means to steer. What definition is there? Listen, that definition of corporate governance by ICSI. So I had written this, you can write definition of CG by ICSI. It's a very, very dirty little big definition. So corporate governance is the application of the best management practices, compliance with law in letters and spirit, then adherence to the ethical standards for proper distribution, okay, and discharge of social responsibility for sustainable development of all stakeholders. You see how dirty definition they've given, and you'll have to write down, okay, properly. Corporate governance is the application of best management practices, compliance of law in true letters and spirit, adherence of ethical standards, and then for distribution of wealth and discharge of social responsibility for sustainable development of all stakeholders. A big, huge little definition, but you can write, okay. Now again, what we had written, the benefits for CSR, you can write here also. Good corporate governance, you get investor confidence, customer attraction, you could say employee attraction, similar points. So similar things, okay. Objective of corporate governance. Now what is the objectives of corporate governance? In corporate governance, when you go to see, okay, in your SEBI LODR regulations 2015, it starts from regulation number 16, if you remember. So they talk about BOD, then 17, all the audit committee, etc. Okay, 17, 18, 19. So you have your audit committee A and answer risk. Okay, what we have done is answer risk. So we had nomination remuneration committees, stakeholders grievance committee, risk management committee. Okay. So I think this sequence we'll just have to check. I think it's 18, 19, 20 and 21. So still we'll just check this. You can check the entire sequence. Okay. So answer is, it's in order. You can write the regulation number. That's a good corporate governance. So here you see similar thing, that when they talk about BOD, they say that the proper board should be there, executive, non-executive directors. Okay. Stakeholders concern is stakeholders grievance committee, monitoring of the management and effective control. Now, corporate governance and role of company secretary. So again, you can quote your section 205, functions of a company secretary. Okay, and you can write exactly what work we do: compliance officer, conscience keeper, all big words you can throw. Link between, it's a corporate communicator. Core competencies required: thorough knowledge of business, knowledge of law, okay, knowing business dynamics, calmness under pressure, okay, building, how to build consensus. This is a very important skill that one should develop, is how do you convince others in a meeting. Always everybody has different viewpoints. How do you convince others? So these are some important skills to develop. So we go here, objectives of corporate governance. Okay, and role of company secretary. Just a few things. The corporate governance, just a few sentences you can take. Role of company secretaries, etc. Okay, and that is, and then we've completed the entire chapter. Thank you. Okay, so is this clear? Now we will start with another chapter. Pay attention. Okay, now we'll go with another chapter. We'll go to your lesson number 2. Now lesson number 2 is also super simple. Okay, let's see. Now lesson number 2, internal and external environment. We just take a 2-minute break. Till that, I want you to flip through your lesson number 1 See whether you can memorize everything. Just a 2 minute break and then we will come and complete the chapter. Okay. So 2 minutes break and then we will complete the entire chapter in one go. So quickly revise your part 1, your lesson 1. Okay. So we'll start with the internal and external environment. Analyzing the external and internal environment. So we'll finish this entire chapter. Good to go. Can we start? Hit the like button. Hi. So we'll be starting with a chapter called as analyzing the external and internal environment. In this chapter, what essentially they can ask you is very limited. There are only two parts of this chapter. First is what is internal and external business environment. This is the first part of the chapter that they can ask you. And the second part is about Potter's five forces theory. Potter's theory. That's it. Nothing else, and we are sorted. So Potter's five forces theory, you do, it is enough. No other question can be asked. In the middle, they'll ask vision mission, but in the next chapter, that vision mission is taught in much more depth. So essentially, these two things only. So let's begin. So first thing is a business understanding, okay, a business analysis, definition of business environment. Now, your business environment is all the external and internal. When I say the environment means what? It's everything surrounding the business. So, business environment refers to all the external factors that have a direct or indirect impact. Every business contributes to economic growth, creates employment opportunities. A business organization operate in isolation. They must continuously consider both external and internal environment. Very simple. The first thing is a business environment refers to both internal and external factors. Now, this was the general meaning, but can we write that in the examination? Answer is no. We have to always, since it's the name of the chapter, business environment, internal, external, you need to know the author's name. So we can write Keith Davis. Business environment is the aggregate of all the surroundings that affect the business. So all the conditions, events, and influences. Clear? So what is a business environment? It is, environment means the aggregate of the surrounding that affect the business. Okay. Also, you can see the totals of all the things external to a business which affects its operations. Done. So Keith Davis will write the aggregate or the total of all the things that affect a business. Then we can directly come to the importance of environmental study. What is the importance of environmental study? Now, same thing we can write of a chapter 1, what we had studied, that it will help us once you do a scanning of the internal and external environment, then you will be able to develop policies, right? Develop policies, and then you will have implementations. Implementation means action plan, and in the end you will keep reviewing, right? So importance of studying the environment is very logical. Scanning, same thing what we had done in lesson number 1. Okay. Now something about business environment. Today, you all are students. You all don't know anything about business in real time. Maybe you might be knowing, but I can tell you that in business, it is a continuous roller coaster. It's continuously like this. Okay, because of technological advancement, due to your world changing, due to the competitors, etc. Okay, due to the government policies. So continuously there are it's a dynamic in nature. Clear till here? The first line is characteristics. First thing you will write. So the first part of the chapter I want you to know is the definition given by Keith Davis. Second, characteristics about business environment, it is dynamic. It is continuously changing. Okay, it consists of internal, external, uh, and then we will start with the internal, external part. So the first part of the chapter is business environment definition, a little bit that is dynamic, and then start with the real part that they can ask you in the exam. So this is exam oriented. Directly we start from here. External environment and internal environment. So a business environment is both internal and external, and because after studying both, business decisions are made, business policies are made, strategic planning, everything is done after scanning the business environment. Till here it is clear. Now we start with the business environment, internal and external environment. Now first thing you go to see internal environment. Why do they define internal external? Why didn't they keep it one? You think? Why is internal external shown differently? Because internal is in your control. It is in your control. The values, the vision, mission, the corporate culture, who you employ, human resource, labor unions, all this is in your physical, technological factors. Then we come to external environment. External environment is which is outside the organization. So this is within and this is the outside. So this is outside organization. Okay, and this I'm saying within control. This we'll say within the organization, within control. Now, further micro and macro is divided. Now, micro is basically which you still have a connection with, like your suppliers, your customers, your intermediaries, your competitors, your public. So it is more closer, and then comes a furthermost thing is government policies, international changes, global changes, social economic development, demographic, which is way outside your control. Clear? Now, external environment are all uncontrollable factors. So what will we write? What is external environment? These are all uncontrollable factors. It's divided into micro and macro. Now we're going to look at micro factors. Headings is enough. Who are suppliers? What do? They give us inputs. Businesses often maintain multiple suppliers so that their operations are uninterrupted. Customers. So customers could be foreign buyers, this etc. It is important for the survival and growth of the business. Then comes marketing intermediaries. Now marketing intermediaries could be news houses, your social media channels, etc. They maintain good relations with the intermediaries and ensure smooth operations. Okay, they help the distribution of the goods, promotions, etc. Then comes competitors. Competitors engage in price competition, non-price competition such as advertisements, etc. Okay, firms monitor competitive strategies continually to maintain and improve their customer preference. You study your competitors to improve your strategy. Public is media houses, environmentalists, etc. Now come to environment macro factor. Now macro is way outside your control. Okay, like your economic factors, fiscal policy by RBI, the inflation aspect, the business, uh, you could say business growth, or when we have recession, etc. GDP. So big words. If you know what you have to write. Second is political legal environment. Now political bring in the laws. Okay, packaging of laws, environmental laws, certain kind of regulations that have been brought in. Then comes technological environment. Very simple. Again, automation, e-commerce, digital tools help businesses to maintain their competitiveness. Okay, then social is the values, beliefs, etc. So just headings we read through and then we are done. Demographics. Demographic is the size of the population, gender diversity, etc. Literacy rate, etc. And natural environment is, your geographical reasons, your air conditions, air purifiers, everything coming under that. Ecological environment is air, water, soil. So only headings and internal lines, if you know it more than enough, they won't ask you go further. They can just tell you internal factors, external factors, done. Now in internal environment, everything that is in your control, vision, mission, your organizational structure, corporate culture, human resource, labor unions, physical, etc. Done. So the first part of the chapter is done. What is the first part of the chapter? The definition and the internal external factors. Then comes to the most important part of the chapter is your Potter's five forces theory. Now, five forces theory, I believe everyone would have an idea, but keywords is what is most important. Okay. So first thing is Potter's theory. Who wrote the was created by Michael Potter. One. This guy, he had studied from where? From Harvard Business School. Okay. And this, what is the model about? Five forces to model. It is a strategic tool, okay, to examine the simple words. So what do they do with respect to the competition? I think I don't even know why they have given this theory and why he got that famous. Okay, it's wrong for me to say this, but still, basic stuff. He has taken two variables, and because of the two variables, he's given the full theory. One is competition, which is the other one, which is the second factor, profitability. Okay, two factors he has taken and he's given his theory. Now I think even if I take a kid and I ask them that if does it have a direct relation or indirect relation, that means if competition is high, profitability will be low, and vice versa. That is all that he has said. That the intensity of competition determines the profitability level. Please write it. That the five forces theory says that the intensity of the competition, okay, the intensity of the competition determines the profitability level. Okay. Then he has taken five forces. Now, what are the five forces? Do you know? You remember? So I had made in a keyword. What was the keyword you all have made? I don't know. I have made in BSSC. What I made? BSSC. B is for what? Buyers. Buyers. Okay. Then comes substitutes. Buyers, substitutes. Then comes competition. Then comes suppliers. And in the first one comes new entrants. Okay. So let's see. B is for what? Buyers. E is for what? New entrants. S is for what? Suppliers. What is the other S for? Substitutes. And C is for competition. Okay, so five forces and your job is done. And then you have to just logically apply your mind that if there are only one thing, you have to say whether this is high, so what will happen to your profitability. Okay, so any of these factors you have to take. BSSE factors, you will keep it here. Okay, because remember he told competition. So all these you will have to study, these five factors like the competition. All these five factors you will see and then compare it with the profitability level. Okay, profitability level. Simple. So if there are more buyers, profit will be more. If the entrants are more, profit will be less. If substitutes are more, profit will be less. If suppliers are more, profit will be more. Because if suppliers are less, I am bound with one guy. He rises his prices, I can't do anything. Here, if he rises, I'll go to anyone else. So that kind of suppliers, if I have a lot more, I have a lot more things that I can do. So it helps my profit. Competition. If the competition is high, the profit will be low. Is the logic clear? Done. Now, five forces model. That first we talked about new entrants. So this part they ask in the exam, that the threat of new entrants is high when the new entrants will be high. So they are also giving you some this part we've cleared, that how easily a firm can enter the industry profitable when an industry is profitable and entry barriers are low, competition increases quickly. So if a entry barrier is low and business is profitable, the industry is profitable, what will happen? Competition will quickly increase. Therefore, firm must create high entry barriers to discourage new entrants. Now, when we can say that the threat of new entrants is high, in a company, in a entity like telecom industry, is it easy to enter? It's very difficult to get a telecom license. So the threat of new entrants will be high in what? In social media influencer business, right? Anyone can take a camera and become an influencer. So because low capital is needed, okay, then government regulation is very little, no licenses, anything needed. Switching cost is very easy. I unsubscribe and I subscribe to someone else. Customer loyalty is weak. A new YouTube channel is there, everyone will go flock there. Product show low differentiation. Almost everyone is very similar, don't have too much uniqueness. Economy of scales can easily be achieved. If I know I can easily scale up, everybody will join in there. Clear? This they had asked in June 2025. Then bargaining power of suppliers. So again, uh, suppliers, if they rise the prices, is it good for me? No, the raw material. This is raw material suppliers. So if they rise the prices, one, or they reduce the quality, it directly impacts me. So more number of suppliers is beneficial to the business. Simple. The number of suppliers, the availability of substitute, the cost of switching, etc. is all to be considered. Now, supplier bargaining power is high when? Now, when the supplier is at a strong fold, when there are few suppliers and many buyers, suppliers can forward integrate. The supplier will buy me and he will come. So that's also very dangerous. Walmart, what do? They are the manufacturer, they also become the retailer, they also become the wholesaler. They can forward integrate. Raw materials have no substitutes. I am dependent on this guy. I can't find a substitute product. Suppliers hold scarce or unique resources. Supplier has some unique stuff I have found to him, and switching costs are high. So always switching cost, quantity of people, and all of that is taken. Now, third case, bargaining power of buyers. If bargaining power of means what? If buyers are more, good for me. Buyers are less, bad for me. Okay. So the ability of buyers to demand lower prices or higher quality. Always remember this, that they can demand lower prices. If there's one few buyers only, I'm dependent on them. Okay, so the demand, they can ask me to lower the price. Second, or they can tell me to increase the quality at the same price. I become at a big disadvantage. Okay, so the buyer's power is high when buyers purchase in volume. So my buyers, bargaining power of my buyers, they purchase in large volume. So then my business is at, I'm stuck because they will want at huge discounts. I am dependent on the buyer because there are only two buyers available. Switching costs are very low. They will say tomorrow I'll go to another business. So buyer. So here you just remember buyer means the customer. So few customers are there. Customer can go. Restaurant is there. Today I didn't give good food. He'll go in the next restaurant. Okay. The buyer is few and they can backward integrate. Forward and backward integrate means the buyer can take away your business. Many substitutes exist. He'll say if you don't go, I'll go to the next guy. And buyer are price sensitive. Okay, if I tell them prices are 10% increase, they will never revert. So this is what is important. Next, threat of substitutes. Threat of substitutes means obviously if there are more substitutes, easier substitutes, everyone will go. Rivalry is intense when there are many competitions. Entry barriers are high. Okay, depends. So this is how you will quote. It's very simple. Customer Rivalry among competitors is very high. When we can say it's very high, it's an extremely competitive market. Tell me today, if anything that you're dealing with, let's say clothes, okay, clothes, is there customer loyalty? Today if someone else will come, you will go to someone else. So competitor, if there are many competitors, entry barriers are high. Okay, so this is an important, rivalry is intense when entry barriers should be low. Okay, anyone can enter inside. Industrial growth is slow, the business is not growing, products are not differentiated, and products can be easily substituted. So then we say that the competition is very high. Now suggested by scholars that the sixth force should also, now how many this are there? Five. Scholars have added complements as a sixth force. Complements are products that increase the demand for the primary product, thereby increasing the firm's and industry's profit level. Example, Amazon Prime, which complements Amazon platform, Geo TV that complements Geo Telecom services. So complements means what? Complementary products. So complementary are not substitutes. They add on. For example, petrol, electric cars, right? Electric cars are there. So petrol and cars, so the price of petrol goes up, the petrol cars will fall, and so on. So complementary products are nowadays coming where people are giving multiple similar complementary services. Okay, now that is it. To implement the Potter's model, you see, you have to gather all the information, analyze all your BSSE factors, formulate your strategy, and then decide which kind of strategy will you use. And that is it. We have completed the entire chapter. Clear? Okay. Now we'll do the next chapter. The next chapter, which is called as business policy. Very, very important third big chapter, and then we are done for today's marathon. Okay, so we are doing 50% of the portion today and 50% tomorrow. And then 40 marks is in your pocket, covering everything. Okay, if you look at the past exam questions also, they now you will be able to relate better. What all have they have asked? CSR, corporate governance. Look at the thing what they've asked in the exam. What all have they asked? They've asked CSR this, then strategic planning, business environment, business matrix, Potter's 5 theory, and threat of new entrant. Done almost all the topics from June 25 examination. Now we'll be starting with business policy in 5 minutes. Okay, 5-minute break and we'll start. Till that, I want you to revise your lesson number 2 and keep it aside. This is your in 2 minutes break. That's it. And then we'll quickly finish the third one. Then you head home, I'll head home. Done. You can start studying something else also. So am I audible and visible? Let me know. Am I audible and visible to you? Okay. So now we'll be starting with the last chapter for today, that is the business policy. It's a big chapter, but I've made it in a way that it's going to be very easy. So we can start. Okay. Hi. So we'll be starting with a chapter called as business policy formulation of functional strategy. Now, in this chapter, I will be telling you parts and nothing is going to come outside of this part. Okay. So the very first part is about business policy and the meaning. So which is the first part that we'll be doing? You will understand the meaning of the term business policy. So policy is basically guidelines, some kind of rules. So a dress code policy. Can I wear short pants and a pink color t-shirt and yellow color pants and go to office? Answer is no. It will be against the dress code policy. Second, a policy could also mean with respect to leaves, with respect to purchase policy. Purchase policy, they could tell that you have to purchase only from registered dealers. A sales policy could be that in this area you would be able to operate, etc. So a policy is a written down principle given made by the top level for the entire organization. Policies could also mean for a certain functional department as well. That means for the legal department we can have a policy, the marketing can have a policy. For example, in my ads I don't want to target any religion, I don't want to target any political party, so I will already make a policy. So when my marketing team is going to make an ad, or my advertisement team is going to make an ad, they would know that these are the guidelines written by them. No making fun of any religion or any political. So this is the policy that you have to create. Okay. They could also be with respect to your policy in advertisement, with respect to who you can hire as your sponsor, etc. So I hope the concept of policy is clear. A policy is a written down principles developed by an organization so that the actions are governed for all the people who are working under it. Okay. So they define the limit within which you can make your decision. So a limit is created. This is the policy within which you can operate. It permits the lower level management to deal with routine problems, okay, without again and again asking the top level management. So top level management will say this is the policy, the guidelines, within that you do whatever you want to do. Okay. Now features of a policy. Obviously a policy will be a written down. Okay, policy will always be written down to cover a certain department. Policy has to be clear, specific, reliable, simple to understand. It should cover all kind of situations and it should be stable, flexible, etc. So for example, I have a certain, or maybe any companies will have their own brand colors. They will, even in the marketing, in the logo, in the text, everything is very specifically told. That comes in the policy with the company or the top level management will make. Once I'm following the policy, I can then operate how I want to. Now, this is about first part of the chapter, what we were doing, business policy, and a little bit about it. The evolution of business policy, not important, but you can write it. Okay. What you will write? Very simple. That the policy was originated, business policy concept was originated in 1911 when the Business Harvard School, okay, introduced it as a course in they introduced it in their management courses. So they are an MBA courses. They introduced the concept of business policy. This was the first time. Then two major reports were done by Gordon and Howell report and the Pearson report. They recommended that business policy should be integrated across all the management programs. Clear? Then in 1969, all this is not important, but any of this information you want, you can quote. The meaning I've told you, it's a guidelines. Okay. Then the history we are going, that first it was in Harvard Business School, it was brought there in their curriculum. then in this American Assembly of Collegian Schools of Business. So these are all business schools. They said that business policy should be taught as a mandatory aspect. And pursuant to that, even in our Indian IIMs, okay, in the IIM, it was introduced as a course. So the history is about Harvard Business School and then IIM saying that we need to have a concept chapter called as business policy. So not very important. Then we are done. Now we come to the second part. So what was the first part? Business policy introduction. What was the first part? Business policy introduction. Please write it down because this chapter is big. I will tell you everything that can come. Okay. The second part of the chapter is three things. The second part of the chapter is again important: vision, mission, and values. Three parts. So this is the second part of the chapter. Sir, what is a vision of a company? A vision is where they want to be. Okay, where they want to be. So we want to be the largest exporter of XYZ. Mission is how you want to be. What is the strategy that you plan to adopt? How? And third, values are your belief system. Okay, belief systems, what you your philosophies that you believe in. Okay, vision is the top level thing, that this is what we want to achieve. The roadmap is decided by the mission, and while following that, what all values we have to ensure and follow. So when we go to the vision, okay, so second most important part of the chapter, understanding the vision, mission, and values. So vision explains what an organization aims to achieve in the long run. Is it a present situation or a future position? It is a future position, okay, and it serves as a roadmap for strategic decision making as well. So only when I know that this is where you want to reach, I will make the policies, processes accordingly. A vision statement, just like a policy statement, has to be concise, clear, future oriented, stable, abstract, inspiring, etc. Purpose: why would you have a vision? So it acts as a foundation for strategic planning. It will attract and motivate employees. You can develop core competencies aligning to what you want to do. So you'll start aligning skills to achieve those things, and with a vision you can differentiate yourself from the competitors. And this is my vision, and you will be able to distinguish from others. Now when I talk about mission, now mission statement defines, okay, how they want to achieve it. Okay, like it should be again short, memorable, unique, realistic, etc. So vision is clear, yes or no? It's a roadmap on which the strategies will be built. It will be concise, clear. It would be future horizon, etc. Now when you look at the mission is basically the reason. From now, obviously different words, they have told reason for the existence, okay, of the company. It is a short statement which tells you the purpose, etc. It should be memorable, unique, realistic. Then if I have to compare the vision and the mission, very, very important. Now I'll ask you, you have to tell me, okay? Now, if where you want to be, that answer where, who answers it? Vision statement. Here, how you will achieve it is the mission, because mission always contains the strategy. Okay, where, what you want to do, how you want to do, what makes you different is the mission, and where do you want to be in the end is there. Time frame. Okay, can I say which is future oriented? Mission. Oh, sorry, vision is future oriented. Mission is always present because the strategy is made today. what we want to do is here. Tell me one thing, what would change and what wouldn't change? Will the vision change or mission change? Mission can keep changing according to the business environment, but the vision normally never changes. Functioning, okay? It lists out where you see yourself from yourself years from now. It broadcasts the goals. It is mostly internal because always mission is how you will achieve it. What is the strategy? It's the present and it is internal. Vision is for the world, internal and external. Clear till here? Few examples we can see and close. Okay, if we see your Tesla. So, what is the vision to become the most compelling car company for transition to electric vehicles? How you will do it? By accelerating sustainable technology or energy. Amazon, what do they want to become in future? The most customer centric company. How you will do it? By offering lowest possible prices. So if you see, it's very similar. You get very clear cut differentiation in there. Vision for TED, let's say LinkedIn, to create economic opportunity, jobs, right, for every person. How will you do it? By to connect. How will you do it? By connecting professionals. Yeah. So like this, you are done with the vision and mission. So we are done with two parts of the chapter. Which are the two parts? Business policy first, and second part is vision and mission differentiation. Now we come to the third part. The third part is again very big, which talks about corporate strategy, business strategy, and functional strategy. Corporate strategy is for the full strategy as the entire business, as the entire company. So let's take an example of ITC. ITC is a company, but it has two business units, two separate businesses. One, each business unit is called as a strategic business unit, SBU. What it is called? SBU. For each SBU, there will be a business strategy. For each SBU, there will be a business strategy. For the corporate level, you will have a corporate strategy. Similarly, if I go to see a company like Apple, can I say that the Apple will have a corporate strategy? Yes or no? Corporate strategy. But Apple also has further separate businesses. One could be in the mobile industry, mobile business they have. The second could be in the laptop business, and so on. Okay, then it could be in the watch business, etc. Each separate business, separate product. So every product is a SBU. What it is? SBU. So for SBU, can I say that the business strategy, it's a different business, so the business strategy will be completely different. Okay, and for each business further there will be departments that talks about functional strategy, that talks about functional strategy is more day to day oriented and departmental businesses. I want you to give me an example of a company which is dealing in very different businesses. One is something, which one? Reliance. Very good. So Reliance, which Reliance they are into which all? Let's talk about Reliance Geo, Telecom, and any other Reliance, any other business of Reliance. Reliance Fresh, food, right? Huh? Trends, clothes, etc. Okay. Now Reliance Fresh is about into food, and this is into telecom. Reliance Geo, right? The Geo. So a corporate level strategy will be your. Here it will be coming as a business level strategy. Business level, that we should enter in which sector, telecom, fresh, manufacturing, etc. Now pay attention. Now each of this business is called as a SBU. Concept clear? In each business there will be marketing different. There will be a different finance team. There can be a different, a separate accounts maintained, different logistic company. Yes or no? So everything will be different. So each of those which are day-to-day operational, this this part is called as functional. So every department of a business is called as a functional area, right? So now my question is, who will talk about the vision, the corporate strategy, which will be long-term oriented, corporate level. This will be medium term, in which business we should enter, and functional is mostly day-to-day activities, day-to-day operation, product manager, floor manager, etc. So tell me if this is clear with you. Corporate strategy, business SBU strategy, and in each business there is a functional strategy. Marketing, sales, human resource, legal, all for each business will be different, right? Now, corporate strategy is clear. Then comes business level strategy, SBU, and then comes your functional level strategy. Your functional strategy is basically for the functional unit. Now, corporate and this very important, they can ask you in your examination difference between corporate and business level strategy. Difference. So first is, which talks about the full company, is your corporate strategy. Business level is only about that specific business unit. Top level management will come and give corporate strategy. The middle level management will talk about which business to enter in. The vision will, the corporate strategy will be for entire organization. This will be only for the specific business unit. This is for longer term, this is for shorter term. Okay, we can say the vision is more extroverted, means for the world, and introverted is more internal, the mission, and similar to the business strategy. Clear till here? Now I just want to understand that top level management will deal with corporate strategy, and middle level management, okay, will deal with the corporate. And this was what? Corporate strategy. And what was this side? Business strategy. So what will be the strategies used? Corporate level will talk about expansion, stability, retrenchment, because only the top level can remove. They'll talk about how to be stable. Business oriented will always be about how to make more profit. How do I reduce the cost of the product? How do I stand out differently, right? Differentiation. Done. Then coming to the third part. Third part is functional level strategy. So till now, which are the parts that we've covered? Pay attention. Very, very important. In this chapter, we've done, the first part was business policy. Done. Second part, what did we do? Vision and mission. Done. Third part, what did we do? The corporate. So basically, I just make this triangle. It's more. So corporate strategy, your business strategy, and your functional strategy. This is the third part, right? Now the fourth one will really go on and on and on, because fourth one is going to talk about dedicatedly about functional strategy. What they will talk about? Functional strategy. Now in functional strategy, they are catching each department, logistic department, marketing department, your production department, each department wise they are going and they are telling, right? So now functional strategy will just go on into the functional base. So let's see. So first thing is, functional means functional department. Department of an organization. Can I say finance is a department? So very simple. Any functional department will come. You will write that it is, part of the functional department. Finance strategy. What do the finance think of? That there has to be enough funds in the business, like a working capital. That they want to improve the firm's performance, financial performance, right? In that, they have said financial metrics include first. So first, which department we are talking about? Finance. In finance, some financial terms will be given. Finish. So free cash flow. Free cash flow means what? Having enough cash, that we have always maintain a net positive cash balance. Have you heard of the term working capital? Working capital, what is the objective? That we should have cash in our hand. So free cash means actual cash should be there. So it ensures that we have cash so that there are no working capital issues. See, can you see the word working capital? That's the word. Then comes economic value added. Now what are we doing? Finance department, key terms they have given you. What is economic value added? So how much value has been added in your business? So there is a formula. It's a very easy formula. Okay, pay attention. What does it talk about? It distinguishes paper profit from real profit. If imagine I have net profit after operating profit after tax. Operate is the actual profit after tax. Let's say if I made 10 lakh rupees, or let's say I made 8 lakh rupees. Would you be happy or no? You have profit after tax how much? 8 lakhs. Would you be happy? Everyone will say, yeah, you can see a net profit, operating profit is very good. But here what they are saying, but I have taken this net profit I got by capital employed. I had 100 lakhs in the business. How much I had invested? 100 lakhs, and I had taken at KO. KO is the overall cost of capital, right? Into KO. KO is, let's say, 10%. So KO is your cost of capital. So anyone will give you 1 crore for free? No. So you got this 100 lakhs. You had taken a loan at 10%. So how much you have to pay to the bank? 10 lakh rupees. So net, was there capital added into my business, or it's a net loss? Net loss. The EVA will come negative because 2 lakh negative. So it is always important to ensure that your net profit is greater than the capital employed, cost of capital employed. So this is your NOPAT. Formula is logical and simple. NOPAT minus capital employed into KO. Okay, I've done that also. So they have given you the formula. What do? They deduct the cost of capital from the net operating profit. Exactly what I've done in the formula. You can quote the formula also. Asset management. In asset management, tell me one thing. Have you heard of the term working capital? In working capital, you have current assets less your current liabilities. Can you tell me current assets? Which are your current assets? Stock, debtors, cash. Right? That is what you will do. Asset management. We have to maintain that there is proper stock, EOQ level is maintained. Debtor management, that we could recover from cash receivable, and cash management. Clear? That's the asset management. So these are all financial terms that they are asking because we are talking about financial management strategy. Capital structure. Now all this, if you remember, we've done it in FM, financial management. What is capital structure? Capital structure is the breakup of the capital employed. It is the breakup. Breakup is a good or bad word? Breakup of what? Of financial or capital employed. Of capital employed. Now when they say that breakup means what? How much was debt? How much was equity? Finish. We are doing financial department terms. Then comes profitability ratio. Profitability ratio is what? Net profit ratio, etc. All the operating efficiencies. Because if you are profitable, you're operating efficiently. growth indices, okay, your sales and market growth numbers you will see. Then risk management, whether you manage the risk or no, and tax optimization. Can I say in finance even tax management is important? That's it. So one part is there which is called as balance scorecard, which says highlights the financial performance as one of the key aspects. So balance scorecard means all the scorecard should be balanced and it should be positive. All the measurable goals should be positive or okay, in favor of the organization. So in functional strategy, we are done with one department. Which department? Finance department. Like that, multiple departments will come. But if you understand that what the department does and what policy will be made in that department, your job is done. Okay, you don't have to learn mug up anything. Second department, though it is connected with finance, but they've given it, I'm writing it second only because it's called as SFM. Any of you all are doing chartered accountancy also? You're doing chartered accountancy? No. In CA, there is a subject called as SFM, which is capital budgeting, where they talk about three things. Your FDI, what did they talk about? Have you heard of capital budgeting? FDI, financial decisions, your dividend decisions, and investment decisions. In financial decisions, they talk about capital structure. In dividend decision, they talk about dividend policy. And in investment decision, they talk about capital budgeting. That's exactly what will be written. Three words. What are the three words I told you? FDI, IFT. Clear till here? Done. So with this, we are done with the first department. So we are doing corporate level got over so fast. The business also got over so fast. Now only functional they keep going on unnecessarily. Okay, second department we are doing, which is called as, I think the first one we should take it together only. Okay, strategic finance. Now we are doing the marketing strategy. Why are they teaching us department? Because all the policies are made. So strategic marketing, why? What does marketing mean? That you will try to differentiate yourself. And when I say strategic, whenever I put the word strategic, you will automatically add the word long term. And if it is long term, it will always be future oriented, forward looking. Okay. Now, let's look at the marketing overview. So, strategic marketing plan involves mapping the company's future direction over a horizon of multiple years. It is a full understanding of the what will be the marketing plan in the upcoming years. So, strategic gap analysis is where you want to be and currently where you are. Okay, where you want to be and current situation. This shows the gap. How far are you from where you want to reach? Understood? So very theoretical, but what comes now is important in marketing department. This is important. Clear? So which department number are we doing right now? Second, marketing department. In marketing department, basic they have given you a marketing policy should be made, but the more important is this part. So this is the important in marketing department. At what level, where are you, and which strategy you should use? This I love it as a concept. Okay, I love it as a concept only, and I think this is where you get real value if you're learning business. Imagine now, pay attention, forget about your examination, etc. Think from a businessman point of view. In business, you could be at any one situation only. Either you could be a market leader, or you could be the second guy in the business, challenger, or you could be a follower who's way behind, or fourth one is someone who just found a different route. In marketing or in market position strategy, if I am a leader, give me an example of a leader. Apple. So what Apple should be doing? What should be his business strategy? He should always keep innovating. He should keep innovation. Write the keywords, done. Innovation, okay? Because if he innovates, that's when he will ensure that he is the leader. Second, challengers, can I say China will come here? China always do reverse engineering. What do they do? Reverse engineering. Reverse engineering means movement. They have to keep a track of the market leader. They are second to the market leaders. They keep observing every single strategy, and they will try to lower the cost and sell the same product. So China, what do? They launch the same product with low price. This is because what the second guy should be doing. If you're a follower, let's say you're way behind, not even second, third, fourth, you're the fifth, sixth, 100th guy. In that case, my job is to not spend in R&D. Not spend in R&D. Research and development. Why? No funds, limited funds. Let all the top guys do everything. Let everyone fight and I will be a follower. Market niches are basically someone who will try to tap a new market which nobody else is tapping. Okay, well, because everybody is fighting in the race, this guy nicher will make a completely new strategy. Let's see. And then they start off. Okay, then same thing, they'll connect that the first guy, market leaders, they are calling it as pioneer. What should be his strategy? Then second guy, what do they call him as? What do they call in the second guy when we did market follow? This guy, see, understand what I'm saying? That this will be repeated by different names. Challenger will be called as close follower. First guy will be called as pioneer. Third guy will be called as late entrant because they are all connected. And fourth guy is a market nicher, right? So let's start. Very simple. That if you are a market leader, you have the largest market share, your job is to defend the largest market share that you have. You require strong branding, you will spend on branding. Now, they will tell if you're a market leader, what will be your business strategy? Because in examination, they will give you a scenario and they will tell you what you should be doing. Second, I will try for going for product diversification. So Apple knows he is a brand. Any product he launches will be bought out. So he should keep launching again and again newer products. Multi-level brandings and creating entry barriers. And try to do acquisition. Best example is Google. They acquire. So which is the biggest search engine in the world, you know? Google. Whose second biggest search engine in the world was YouTube. So what happened is the market leader acquired YouTube. So who owns YouTube now? Google. Because Google knew that this is the second search engine. If you go to the next one, Facebook and Instagram. So Facebook was a market leader. They knew that it was one of the biggest social media platforms. Suddenly Instagram started picking up. So Facebook bought over Instagram. Logic clear? So this is what the market leader will do. Acquire. Please write that line because this and Pioneer will be doing the same thing. So I will not repeat when I go to Pioneer. Your job is to understand where the connection is coming from. So the job of Apple is to do branding and acquisitions and product new launches. Now we're talking of the Chinese guy. The Chinese guy, what will they do? They have the second largest share. Okay, they will have to go for offensive technique. So how I can damage Apple by competing head on? Okay, I will try to create a new segment, innovations, and I will try to do reverse engineering. So the market challenger will be doing what the close follower will be doing. So remember, there is a connection. Close follower, what he will do? He will invest in R&D. He will develop newer products, little differentiated, and try to get a better value proposition. Right? Then comes third, follower. Follower is what? Should a follower try to make a new product, innovate? If he burns his hand, he will be out of business. So his job and his strategy should be wait and watch. He should come with a strategy, me too. He should focus on cost control. Okay, because now he's not spending on R&D, which the top two people are spending. Okay, and market niches will completely enter into a small but specialized segment. Big player will never enter inside because it is a specialized small segment. They'll try to create a brand loyalty, niche segment, and value for money and superior services. They will try to build relations with people. Okay, that is what they will do. Entry strategies we have discussed already for the top guy, second guy, and third guy. What will be? Concept clear? Yes. So now in functional area, which what we have completed? Finance and marketing. Finance and marketing is completed. Now the third functional area they are starting, which is called as human resource strategy. Now human resource, first we'll tell the meaning. Human resource is basically all the policies, procedures with respect to the people involved in the business. So will you write what you know, or you will write what Bula and Scott have said? That human resource planning means ensuring that the human resources requirement are identified and satisfied. A process of organizing an attempt to estimate the demand for labor, evaluate how much is needed, and supply them and meet them with their needs. So let's see. Normally, they always joke that what a human HR will be doing, right? HR. They say they make rangoli, all those funny things that they show. But in reality, what work do they do? So their job is to know what is the, now they have labor turnover rate. They should know that how much turnover is happening, how many people are leaving. So they have to estimate that this much people normally leave in a year. So I have to start recruiting so many people. And two things what the HR does. They hire, they fire, and they motivate. So whoever is there, they'll keep motivating. Clear? That's the job. They have all these different rose day, cultural day, traditional day, etc. So human resource strategies, what do they do? Even launching ESOPs, how do you train? So the strategies, you can market is important, and in your own words then you can write. So as a HR, they will be looking at employer branding. People should feel that, I want to join them. Retention strategies, having proper offer letters. Your If you are leaving, you require 3 months leave. Absence management, if you've taken a leave. Flexibility strategy, a talent management strategy, recruitment and selection strategy. Simple. So this is what they do. Human resource is a one-time job or a continuous process? Continuous process. See, we know all this, all we need is keywords to build our answer, right? So can I say that the three elements of HR planning is to forecast the demand, analyze how much people are needed, and then balance the needs and meet their requirements. Gap analysis, etc. And now we come to certain strategies. Restructuring strategies. Now in corporate restructuring, CR, corporate restructuring. What all have we learned? What do you mean by the term restructuring? Restructuring means to reorganize, or we could say redesign. Okay, so restructuring means HR will redesign. Maybe he will say we need to reduce the staff. We need to this work this one can also do. Reorganize the groups, etc. Has to train so that the skill levels can be increased. He will assign the roles. If one is leaving, you cannot just say bye. You have to do succession planning. Train the other guy who's entering in. Okay, you have to create strategies to attract new people. Then comes outsourcing strategies. Okay, so outsourcing means what? That you will outsource everything is not done in-house. Some things are being contracted out. When I say outsourcing means it's contracted out to higher strategy. So how do you retain? So just headings we can do. How do you retain your talented employees? One is mentorship, give them ESOPs, onboard and orientation, your give them work-life balance, train them, have your employment contracts clear, communication feedbacks, deal with change because sometimes M&A they would want to leave, so change management. Headings are enough. So with this we are done with the third functional strategy also, which is that HR strategy. Then we are coming to production strategy. Now, in production strategy, what they are saying that business policy should be made, okay, with respect to production department, so that we can produce the goods and services in a way that is beneficial to the businesses. Now, business strategies in production. Can you tell me without reading what all business strategies will you do in production? In production, the first thing I think about is cost reduction. Cost leadership they call it. Then I would say in production produce some new kind of a thing, product differentiation. So this I feel they can ask. Important headings, differentiation. Then comes market segmentation strategy. In production what they do, they segment the market. You know Maruti Suzuki? Does Maruti Suzuki cater to top level, like you could say, your high-end cars or no? No. Now what happens is Maruti Suzuki knew that they are offering low-cost cars. So they cannot ever bring a car at 60 lakh rupees, 1 CR, ever. Because they will flop badly because people say Maruti Suzuki cannot be a 1 CR car. Ever. Even if they launch, it will flop because the brand has been associated. So Maruti Suzuki, they wanted to enter into this high premium cars. So to launch premium cars, will they ever do it under their own brand? No. They made something called as Nexa. So a separate unit, Nexa cars we all know is branded differently, as it's a premium car seller. So then you have all those premium cars coming under Nexa brand, which is ultimately under Maruti Suzuki brand. So what did I do? I segmented the market. So I will try to divide the market, target different customer groups separately. So rich groups I will target them separately, poor groups I will target them. It's called as focus strategy. Focus on them and then target them. Then comes we've already done this, but production strategy is based on competitive priorities. Few more. This we have already discussed in production. What we can do first: price, quality, delivery strategy. Can I say that you can deliver faster? Product mix that give a wide range of products, variety of products in manufacturing. Service strategy. Service strategy means excellent services can be a good strategy. Eco-friendly products. Okay, launching of eco-friendly could be a good production strategy. Now, production based on competitive advantages. Okay, low cost strategy. Similar thing they'll repeat. And that's it. Clear till your production. Now we come to the last part, last functional strategy, which is, and they had asked in the exam. Any one of the functional they can ask you to explain. So formulation of a logistic strategy. Now earlier, this entire thing was never there. This unit was only never there, logistic strategy. Earlier people used to go to the shop and buy. Now people are purchasing online and then the logistic departments come in. What does the logistic department do? It's an entire supply chain management, SCM. Can you tell me companies which will have their full business is dependent on logistics? Amazon. Now Amazon, or you have Zepto, or nowadays you have any Swiggy, Zomato. You can see the entire supply that he has where is the delivery partner, he has picked up. The same time they will already be told that you can start the cooking. then delivery time. So this is all logistics. Even Amazon, what do? They are selling the same products like everyone else. But why is Amazon the richest company in the world? They are not even selling their own products. They are selling products which are already available. The main business of them is logistics. You get it really quick. Zepto, they don't have their own products. All they do is the delivery time. So supply chain is like a relay, and the lowest time wins. So what else things can be done in logistics strategy, we will see. So I don't know all of them. They all have started using something called as dark stores. You know what are dark stores? Dark stores. So earlier you had these stores where you can walk in and buy, but dark stores are basically it's only of them. It's like a warehouse. So they make it in different places, and then people just go into the warehouse, the delivery partner, and they buy and they come. You can't go and purchase from there. So that way, logistically, they are more placed in heavy areas and they deliver faster. Obviously, with the help of tech also. So good logistical strategy ensures that the delivery is fastest at the lowest cost. Network strategy, channel level, etc. Now, when we come to the main thing, a logistic strategy plan, okay, has 8 elements. How many elements they have? This is what they can ask you. Logistics is the delivery time. So first is customer service policy, order fulfillment, inquiry handling, information availability. They design the supply chain network. So customer gets the entire information. Second, inventory location policy. So they would say that where will our dark stores be held? In which location we should have, because here we get the maximum number of orders. So let's have a dark store there and finish it off. Whether we should keep a centralized, decentralized, etc. Headings are enough. Inventory policy, how much in our store, how much we should keep. It shouldn't be overstocked or understocked. Cost plan, the trade-off between cost and service level. High level of service means more cost. So a proper planning between them. Transportation policy should be there. IT should be capable, communication channels. Your logistic organizational structure. Nowadays people are proper managers, subordinates, fund. The information should go smoothly. And logistics targets. So performance targets could be given, that Zepto and all of the 10-minute delivery. So whether the targets were received on time or no. And with this, we've completed the entire. Thank you. Okay. So that is it, guys, for today's marathon. Okay. Yeah. So I have covered the entire 3 chapters. The notes you will get it from our WhatsApp group. You can go and get it. And secondly, I've covered the entire all the parts, and that's it. The next 3 chapters I will do it tomorrow. So you're sorted with entire 40 marks. Your job is, out of 40, you have to get a 30. Because when you get 30, you're clearing the subject. People spend their entire life in the 60 marks, and in the 40 marks they are not able to score 30 plus. So if you score 30 plus, you're passing no matter what. So that's my advice to you. Perfect this. I've gone through the past exam questions also. All are module questions. So why not get full? So the notes are enough, and that is it, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I will see you all again tomorrow for your next part of the marathon. Take care, guys. Bye.